This week's guest is University of Maryland senior journalism major Tyler Lochte, who had probably the call of the entire NCAA tournament, of course, and went viral after Derik Queen's game winner against Colorado State in the round of 32. Tyler, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so I guess just kind of run me through that moment. Was that a pre-rehearsed call? Were you thinking about what you were going to say if Maryland did win that game? Was that all kind of off the cuff for you on Saturday or on Sunday? My bad.
I mean, whenever it's time for me to write anything, that's where things start to go south. So for me, no, that was completely off the cuff because to be honest with you, like I kind of did all that setup. That was the story. I mean, once it went in, what do you really have to say? Everybody knows what that means. So I think the hard part was kind of before the actual shot itself. And then afterwards, it was that stat. I mean, the second time in 22 years. It's the first buzzer beater for Maryland in the tournament since literally the night I was born. So it's been a long time. It's just ridiculous that that happened.
I want to talk through the actual logistics of the clip. How many times in your career have you said, this is a big moment. You've taken out your phone, you've pointed it to yourself and said, if this moment is great, I'm going to post it on social media. Is that something you do often at the end of games?
Never, never. The only time that I did it this time was because I didn't understand the media rights. I thought that we couldn't use any clips from the actual broadcast itself. So I was like, well, I might as well just hang on to this. So I got out my phone, I recorded it, and then I sent it to the group chat. They were like, oh, yeah, this is a heck of a call. You should post it. I said, all right. And then it just went crazy.
Who's the coolest person that you got to talk to uh, because of the call? I mean, obviously, RG3 I saw responded to your tweet, but who's kind of the coolest connection you made from it?
Probably awful announcing to me. Because they were the first ones to post anything about it, and that's an account that I've followed for years. And after I posted it, I went down into the press conference room. I had no idea that like it was doing what it was doing, and I look over to my left, and there's Eli Cohen, and he's like typing away, he's live tweeting it, and then I see my tweet pop up, but he hovers around it, and I see if I look closer, it's Awful Announcing that posted it, and I was just like, what? Like I couldn't believe that. It was just the craziest thing ever. And for that one, I mean, for them to reach out, like they wrote a whole like story about just the call. It's just crazy. Like I never would have expected that.
Was this the first time you'd had something like this on Twitter, I guess go viral?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I mean, to put into perspective how crazy viral that went, my second most liked tweet now is "Thank you, Ravens legend RG3" in response to like him checking out the call.
No, yeah, that's absolutely hilarious. Have you gotten I assume you've gotten like some random text from people who you probably haven't spoken to in years since high school and be like, oh my God, I just saw this video of you. Did that happen to you at all?
Yeah, like the House of Highlights TikTok. Like I so many random people that I haven't spoken to in years sent it to me and they were like, "Wait, this is you." Like what in the world is going on? Like some of them didn't even know I guess that like I broadcasted games. So they were just so confused and I was just I don't know. Like it's crazy. You never know who's going to see it.
I guess I want to ask you about Maryland's run. I mean, how have you kind of reacted to this, and along with the Kevin Willard stuff? Um, what are your feelings on this team, and then moving forward? If we're recording this on Wednesday, if it becomes official that Willard leaves, kind of what would this season mean to you? And what do you think it means for the future of Maryland basketball?
Well, for me, as a broadcaster's perspective, it was my turn to do the bowl game for football. And I think going into that, everybody was so confident that we were going to get to 6 wins with that schedule. So I was kind of like, oh, yeah, I'm definitely going to be able to do that. But then basketball comes around and I get to do the opener for Plus, which was awesome. And so I think just from that, I really wanted it to be a special season because this is kind of like our last chance as seniors to cover something like that. And I mean, the run's just been unbelievable. Like for the Michigan State game, I was supposed to call it, but I traded away the call for the Iowa game just to go as a fan, just to be in Xfinity one last time and kind of take it all in. And then you get into the tournament, GCU, I think we all kind of expected to win that game. But then when it was Colorado State, I think everybody just kind of realized it's a real opportunity to do something special. And I think with 3 minutes left, I kind of said something along the lines of this next 3 minutes is going to decide the legacy of this team, because if they can get it done, they're going to be heroes. They broke through that ceiling. They got to the Sweet 16 first time in 10 years, second time since '03. But if they weren't able to win that game, it's just yet another like terrible what if at Maryland, where it's like, all right, here's this cool team that wasn't able to do anything. And as for Willard, it's just crazy. I mean, right now, and we were kind of talking about this beforehand, my biggest take on that right now is imagine if they go and win the tournament. Just how funny would that be? Like after all of this, where it's like, oh, they're not focused, they're not focused. And I think that was kind of the narrative this past weekend. They seemed pretty focused to me. And I know Florida's really, really good. And, you wonder if that whole focus thing is not a story. Maryland is still probably picked to lose that game. But, I mean, there's still talent on this team. And you better believe that all 5 of those guys that start are going to be believing in themselves. And I think that the run is not over here. You can't really count your chickens before they hatch.
So you're sitting in the press conference after the win against Colorado State. Tell me about a little bit the reaction to Derik Queen's joke there about Kevin Willard. He do pay us the money. They're asking him, what do you like about Kevin Willard? Why do the players respect him? And he says that. What was that like to see DQ right after probably the biggest moment of his career yet, to be popping jokes like that?
I called one of Derik Queen's games when he was a freshman in high school. Like, I'm a Baltimore guy, as is he. And to me, I didn't really read into that as like this is what's wrong with college basketball thing. I read into that as that's just the most DQ thing ever. Like, he's just a little kid trapped in the body of just as good of a basketball player as Maryland's had in such a long time. And it's just crazy. You sit there and you talk to him. And if you don't realize he's 6'10", you would never, in a million years think that he is this just fantastic basketball player. And I think that's really cool. Like, I think it really is cool that this guy is just a kid that just wants to have fun. And when it's time, he wants the ball, and he's going to let his teammates know he wants the ball. And just for him to get that finish, and I was in the locker room after that win, he was just so calm. Like, somebody asked him in the locker room something along the lines of like, oh, is this, why you came to Maryland? He was like, I mean, yeah, this is pretty cool, but like, I want to go to the league. And it's like, who says that after they just make, the greatest play, like arguably the greatest shot in the history of the school? I think it's the deepest buzzer beater Maryland's ever hit. But it's just crazy how he can block that stuff out.
So you said you called a game of his during his freshman year of high school?
Yep, when it was him and Juju in the front court, and they beat the crap out of my high school. I think it was 50-11 at halftime. And we had like 3 or so, I think, D1 guys, but they were all kind of young, and it was just hilarious. Like, that was the funniest basketball I think I've ever seen in my life, because it's 50-11 at halftime. Their coach, Nick Miles, he takes them all into the hallway. And 4 seconds later, the whole team comes out and they're just shooting. And so my broadcast partner walks down and is like, what did you talk about? Like, why was that so quick? And the guy just pointed at the scoreboard and he was like, what do you want me to say? I mean, it's just dominant. So for that team, I think, to put so many guys D1 now, I think that entire starting lineup went D1, but I think it's just so crazy to me, that you have DQ, who's a Baltimore guy. He leaves, he goes to Florida, but he's still representing the state. He's still representing his city. And I think that's great for Maryland. I mean, you think they're going to use that clip of, oh, I'm from Baltimore, that's why, to get more guys to come here? I think absolutely you have to lean into it.
Absolutely, I agree. I think it's huge for the program to have a homegrown talent like that, make that play in that sort of stage, and then also just have that quote at the end of the game in his post-game presser of Andy Katz. To kind of wrap up this interview, looking ahead to Florida on Thursday, kind of what is your prediction for that game? How do you think it's going to play out?
Well, I mean, they've got a point guard that is just out of this world. And I think that for me, the real matchup is going to be, how's Jacoby going to defend him? He can stop on a dime and shoot. Like, he can shoot off the dribble. And I feel like Maryland hasn't really faced a guy like this yet. But you have to keep in mind, this is a 1 seed for a reason. Like, even if he goes cold, Maryland's still going to have their hands full. So I believe in the Crab Five. I feel like at this point, why can't you? But at the same time, Florida's really, really, really good, and I think it's going to take a big game from. I'll put it this way. I don't think that Maryland can afford to have anybody in the Crab Five kind of slip up or not really play a good game. Like you've got to have all cylinders firing.
Yeah, no, I agree. Before we wrap up, I want to ask you. I know you've gotten a lot of attention, at least on social media, from your call. What's your what's your goal? What's your job? What's the job you want after school? And has this clip kind of helped you out?
I mean, it definitely doesn't hurt, right? I mean, it's cool because like for me, I don't know how many times I've put on a headset and like a crazy moment has happened, and that was just that. I took off the headset and then I moved on to the next game. But for this one, it's kind of just stuck around. Like every time I go to like class or anything now, it's like oh he's famous, and it's like to me that's not really, I guess, what it is. But I've already started to do like freelance stuff. I've done like a lot of lacrosse, which is just awesome. I love lacrosse, and that has kind of led to more and more freelancing opportunities. I think once you kind of get your foot in the door in that department, it is really good once you build up that trust. So that's kind of my goal right now, to focus on that. But yeah, no, having a moment like that and being able to deliver, I guess, in a moment like that, it definitely doesn't hurt.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to hearing some of your calls through the rest of your Maryland career.
Absolutely. Let's make the Final Four so I can get down to San Antonio.
Sounds good. Have a good one.